Bring in tonight's think tank. Joining us in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, and law professor at Texas Southern University, Michael Sterling. In Seattle, Washington, trial attorney Ann Bremner. And in Atlanta, Georgia, criminal defense attorney Michael Bixon. Great to see everyone. Michael Sterling, this was an extremely emotional day inside the courtroom, and what Chanley described with the jury staying in there and being there for the moment that the defendant decided to speak and deny his guilt. Very unusual, but at the end of the day here, I'm looking at this case, and the evidence is what it is. I mean, who on earth were investigators supposed to look for? Somebody else driving his car?
Yeah, Vinny, I mean, it is a tough road to hoe, as they say. But look, let's be clear. Stranger things have happened. We've seen some cases here on Court TV where we believe the person was absolutely innocent and they get convicted, and we've seen the opposite happen.
Who, me? Wait, were you saying I saw somebody that was innocent in one of these trials?
You never see anybody who's innocent, Vinny. So, no, I'm not referring to you.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was a very emotional day, Vinny. The evidence is very, very overwhelming, but he's clearly sticking to his story, sticking to his innocence, continuing to say that he's not guilty of this crime, and so that's concerning. I mean, either he's a sociopath who is completely guilty, or somebody has framed this innocent man.
Yeah, that. Let me tell you, and that would be some amazing frame job that was done here. I mean, this was one of the best ever. And every trial we come across here recently at Court TV, someone's getting framed. The next story we're going to talk about is another frame job. And let me ask you about that. How many cases have you handled where someone was framed?
That would be zero, Vinny.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the guest who joins me and tells me about the frame job. Unless Michael, do you? Michael?
I have actually.
All right. Hold that thought. We'll get to you in just a second. You can tell us about the innocent person who's framed. And sometimes there's no defense case, there's no defense evidence, because there is no evidence to show that he's not guilty, because they actually police, investigators, and prosecutors all got it right along with the jury.
Right. And that was his case. I mean, he didn't put on a case. The whole thing was talking about the DNA and opening statements, and then it went silent all suddenly. I mean, where's the defense? And then he gets up and says, I think I'm innocent. I know I'm innocent. With all the jurors sitting there, like you said, who just convicted him, and the family and everybody else. And how long did it take him? A little bit over an hour. Not much.
Oh, they were fast. That's some fast justice. All right, Michael Bixon, tell us about, and give us the short version, though, and I'm all open to it. You had a client that was framed?
So I can't go into any type of ongoing litigation, but I can tell you from past experience, I have seen people framed, and whether it's by private individuals, whether it's by police, I have seen these cases happen, and they do. Now, how often they happen is a different story, but do they happen? Absolutely.
Now, are you sure this isn't when you were watching Law and Order? This wasn't an episode of Law and Order. This was real life.
Vinny, hey, it happes.
Okay.
I mean, look, if you're going to say that police don't frame people, it happens. Absolutely, it happens. Not just private people, but police.
In Biscayne, Florida, Vinny, if I remember correctly, federal prosecutors indicted and prosecuted and convicted the chief of police of the Biscayne Police Department for inappropriately framing black suspects for years.
Okay,
so, yeah,
I get it. I get it. All right, you guys win. The Michaels win. You can be framed. This particular case, though, I don't think so. Neither does the judge. Take a listen.
The evidence is so substantial in this case, pointing to your guilt. And I emphasize that and re-emphasize it because of the horrific and most brutal nature of this crime. It could not be worse. It's the most severe murder that has occurred that I have been a witness to as far as presiding in court or participating in as a lawyer. And for whomever asked me for leniency, that's not part of my DNA. I have two daughters. one of whom sit in this seat more often than I do, and another of whom live in a city who have to encounter people on a daily basis. And I have sons. I would like to think I know my sons and my daughters very well. Certainly, I would be in disbelief if any of them were to find themselves standing in a spot like you. But even more so, the terror imposed on their child and the pain and grief that you've caused. She was an amazing person, an amazing human being, and the testimony is here. And she obviously put up an amazing fight against you and left a sufficient trail for the jury to see. And sentencing in this case is not difficult. The sentence in this case is easy, though painful it may be. The sentence of the court for murder is that you be committed to the State Department of Corrections for life. Any other sentence that can be imposed will be concurrent with life. Since you only have one life, that sentence must be served for the remaining days of your natural life.
And Bremner, I appreciate it when judges become human on the bench and take the opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of judges that just kind of, they'll go aggravating, mitigating, monotone. No, that's not this judge. And that's not the kind of judge my father was either when he was on the bench. And I appreciate that.
I can only imagine that he was wonderful like this judge, Vinny. I mean, I was sitting thinking to myself, I love this judge. I mean, he talks about his own family. He talks about her family. He talks about how amazing she was. And the jury heard it all. I mean, he hit everything, and the emotion was spot on. He's a wonderful judge, very empathetic, but also I loved it when he said, that's just not my DNA to give you leniency. And he didn't.
When we come back, we're going to go on into the next big trial that happened, or next big hearing today, and we'll give an opportunity to the two Michaels to talk about frame jobs again, because that's what Cristhian Rivera is saying, and his attorneys. He was framed for the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Someone else confessed. There was testimony in court today. We're going to take a look at it when we return.
Girl. He's like, I killed her. I'm like, I said, I don't believe you. And then he said, the guy that's being charged for it right now? I said, no, I don't. He's like, reset him up. He's like, it was a sex trafficking case gone wrong, and I stabbed her to death.
Unbelievable allegations flying in that courtroom out in Iowa. That is Arnie Mackey. He's an inmate who said that another inmate told him that he was the one who actually killed Molly Tibbetts, and that they set up, in other words, framed Cristhian Rivera for the murder. Big hearing today. Arnie Mackey, again, becomes the key to the defense attempting to get a new trial here. Let's take a listen to more of his testimony.
Going further with the sex trafficker, he was asked Gavin, Jones, and Dalton. He asked this guy and asked him why these two kids were in this trap house. And the guy said that they were homeless. So the sex trafficker took these two under his wing and started paying for him to go steal vehicles for him. And that's when they stole the vehicle, Gavin Jones, Dalton Hansen, and his black friend that couldn't speak English were stole a vehicle and then had a shootout with the police, and then drove up to this house and ran down the basement. And when Gavin and his friend were down there, he heard a noise from a room. He opened the door, he seen a woman bound to a chair and gagged.
And was he able to identify that woman?
He later on he did. He went upstairs and said that if the police went to the next house over, they would have caught her. And I said, "Who's that?" "Tibbetts." And that's when the sex trafficker said that he had to get rid of her. So he went back down there and stabbed her to death and then put her in a tarp.
All right, that's actual testimony. Now, Arnie Mackey, he may very well be telling the truth of what he heard from someone else, which is why hearsay is what it is, right? But there's a shootout with police, and the 17-year-old who's having a shootout with police somehow is able to get away from police, go into a house and go into the basement to find Molly Tibbetts, who's gagged and bound in the basement of this house. And I guess police had the shootout, and they're like, "Oh, I guess he ran away. We're going home." Doesn't make sense to me, but drop my pen. But hey, that was the testimony. This is what the defense is going with. In this whole scenario, there's a lot of different names. Let me just put some of them up on the screen involved in this whole thing. It's complicated. You got Gavin Jones, who allegedly said he and another man stabbed Tibbetts after she was held at this sex trafficking trap house that we're hearing about. There's Dalton Hanson, who's allegedly involved in killing Tibbetts. There's James Lowe, who's the alleged sex trafficker who ordered the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Then there's Xavier Harrelson, who's a missing child, an 11-year-old. And then Ron Pexa. He's a Tama County deputy who was questioned by investigators in the Molly Tibbetts case and apparently has been accused of molesting his children. Okay, let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Julie Janae, who joins us live from Montezuma, Iowa. Julie Janae, this is very complicated, a lot of moving parts. Does the story make sense? Let me ask you this. When he had the shootout, did police try to find him? Or did they just turn around and go home after the shootout and they say, "Oh, I guess he left"?
Well, he didn't get arrested after the shootout, so it sounds like they never found him. And they were also somehow looking for Molly Tibbetts at the same time and were in the same area, but didn't go far enough as far as the house. There were a lot of moving parts to that testimony.
Let me ask you one more question about the
Mackey.
house. I hate to interrupt you, but I just have to know. Is there an address for this trap house?
There is an address for this trap house. It's in New Sharon, and the address was on the record today. I believe it was on Market Street. I'd have to check my notes, but it did come up several times that this trap house was where Gavin Jones told, he didn't give the address to Mackey, but the defense attorneys were able to figure that out by corroborating other stories that had to do with a trap house in New Sharon that connected to James Lowe, one of those players you just put up on the screen.
All right, Julie, stay where you are. I've got more questions for you. I just want to quickly bring in the think tank. I've got Michael Sterling, Michael Bixon, and Bremner. Michael Sterling, your thoughts here? This sounds like a very complicated, convoluted thing. Does it have the ring of truth to you?
Well, Vinny, I mean, evidence is evidence, right? So the idea is that if someone is bringing forward information that they heard, now, that doesn't mean that the individual who shared this with the jailhouse informant is telling the truth, but he's bringing forward information he knows, and that's valuable, right? So anytime evidence is evidence, whether we like it or not, whether we, we're going to obviously vet the information to try to find out if it's corroborated in any way. But, when I was a prosecutor, Vinny, it hung on my wall that it's better for 100 guilty men to go free than one innocent man be convicted. So if there is some possibility, some prospect that someone else committed this crime, then it's our duty as lawyers, as protectors of the Constitution, to make sure that that the right person is convicted for the crime.
Michael Bixon, does this sound like the big setup? We're in the middle of a sex trafficking ring. The heat is on. I think the feds are on us. We're going to have to kill Molly Tibbetts, but we need some Hispanic person to pin this on.
I mean, look, is it possible? Absolutely. Did it happen? I have no idea. I mean, there's several different possibilities when you're talking about who's telling the truth here, because we are sort of passing along the message in this case. Whenever you have any type of person in custody come in and rat on somebody, I do sort of have a little bit of a skeptical eye about it, whether they're testifying for the defense, whether they're testifying for the prosecution. I'm just always very skeptical of it. In this case, I am too. Now, again, does that mean it's not the truth? Absolutely not. Does it mean there shouldn't be a new trial? Absolutely not. I do think that this might rise to the level of them needing a new trial. I mean, if you have people coming in and admitting to it, I think it's something worth exploring.
Well, the person who's admitting to it wasn't in court today, right? Let me bring back in Julie Janae. Julie Janae, let me ask you about Gavin Jones. Was he in court today? Did he admit to this? Did he admit to admitting to it? Anything along those lines?
Gavin Jones was not in court today, and we were able to confirm with defense attorneys that they actually did not send a subpoena to Gavin Jones. So there would not have been a reason for him to be here unless the state felt the need to subpoena him here. But we do know that he has denied publicly, according to the Associated Press, that he was involved, and says that he has an alibi for the time period that Molly Tibbetts disappeared.
Okay, I want to play more of Arnie Mackey's testimony today. Here, involving a member of law enforcement is in this whole sex trafficking thing as well. Let's take a listen.
What's with the sex trafficker? And then he started telling me that it's a person that calls this guy and wants some specific girl, color, hair, eyes, weight, and this sex trafficker will hire another guy to go steal a vehicle and stake out the neighborhood and get this girl, whoever, and bring her to the trap house and then do the thing.
Did he mention anything about law enforcement?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
He said the sex trafficker lived in Tama, and he had a wife with two daughters, and that he'd have the Tama police work for this guy to get these girls. And
Did he say Tama Police, or did he mention Tama County Sheriff?
no, just Tama police.
All right, let me ask you, Julie Janae, on this law enforcement issue, it seems like they're pointing the finger at one particular person.
They are not getting especially specific, but it was raised today that one of those players on the list, Ron Pexa, who was or is a Tama County deputy or deputy on reserve, that he was someone who may be that Tama County deputy that is being mentioned by Mackey on the stand. I can tell you in court today, when that was raised, you could see from the family just how disgusted they were that this name was being brought up again, because Ron Pexa was brought up during the actual trial, and he was cleared by law enforcement, even though he was interviewed, he was talked to. They really searched him out to see if he was a person of interest or a suspect in this case, but that was fully cleared. But his daughter did take the stand during the trial to raise those allegations that he molested her and molested her sister when they were young.
Okay, but that's nothing new. His name is not new. It's just somehow connected to this Gavin Jones alleged story to Arnie Mackey. All right, let's bring back in the think tank. And I'm a big timeline guy. You know that, Ann. You know that, Michael. Michael, you know that. So I want to put up on the screen some of the things that are alleged here. And to me, the timeline just cannot make sense with this new story. September 2017, December 2017, Gavin Jones is in state custody. In December 2017 to July of 2018, Gavin Jones is in rehab. Then in July of 2018 to an undetermined date, Gavin Jones lives in assisted living facility under supervision. Molly Tibbetts disappears after a jog July 18th, 2018, when Jones is living in the assisted living facility under supervision, okay? We know that, and we've got the video to show that. Her body is found August 21st of 2018, but what we have is this unknown date of Gavin Jones in this shootout with police where he sees Tibbetts bound and gagged. The problem with all of this, Ann Bremner, is that you look at that, this shootout with police has to be some point after she's jogging. But according to the defendant, the sweater men came in, abducted him, and found her when she was jogging. She's never put in the trap house. When was she in this trap house for Gavin Jones to murder her if Cristhian Rivera, the defendant, is seen in his car stalking Tibbetts and then told us that's when Tibbetts was dead in his trunk? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't
make
fit.
any sense. It doesn't fit.
You can't acquit.
In this case. Right, you can't acquit. Good, brilliant. But yeah, timelines are great. You're absolutely right. I mean, you cannot acquit in this case. It doesn't make sense. I think like they called central casting, they forgot to give all these people the script. I mean, this is so fantastical, and it's completely in opposite to what the defendant testified to. And then how did he find her in the cornfield, with all this other, noise and mood music going on? Unbelievable, because it is.
Unbelievable. And I know some people there are believing this. I just want to go to Julie Janae for like 10 seconds. Julie Janae, what is next? Is there going to be a decision here?
Waiting on Judge Joel Yates to issue a written ruling. He didn't do it from the bench today. We asked him when we can expect it. He said he's going to get it as soon as possible. So we will be watching and waiting and, of course, bring it to you when it comes in.
Okay, Julie Janae in Iowa. When we come back, we're going to take you on the docket. Incredibly tragic story coming up next. On the docket tonight in Polk County, Florida, 3 friends head out on a fishing trip but end up shot and killed. Tonight, we look at a video that may be the key piece of evidence for prosecutors. Plus, a lot of allegations were made inside the courtroom in the hearing for Cristhian Rivera involving new evidence, confessions, and sex trafficking. Tonight's 13th juror question: should the convicted killer of Molly Tibbetts get a new trial? Go to our Facebook pages and tell us what you think. On the docket tonight, the fishing trip triple murder case. This is horrific. 3 friends getting together to go fishing end up murdered, and it's a videotape that may be a key piece of evidence for prosecutors. Ted Rollins has more.
This is 26-year-old Tony T.J. Wiggins.
He's a thug. He's a criminal. He's pure evil in the flesh.
According to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, T.J. Wiggins was the trigger man in a bloody massacre, leaving 3 fishermen dead near the town of Frostproof, Florida. The victims, 23-year-old Damian Tillman, 27-year-old Brandon Rollins, and 30-year-old Kevin Springfield were best friends, getting together, as they often did, to go fishing.
What's more wholesome than 3 friends, 3 close friends, fishing together in Frostproof on a Friday night?
The night of the murders, Damian Tillman stopped by a Dollar General store before meeting his friends. Surveillance video shows him in line. Also in the store, T.J. Wiggins, his brother, 21-year-old Robert Wiggins, and T.J.'s girlfriend, 27-year-old Mary Whitmore. Tillman, according to investigators, told the clerk he was going fishing and that Kevin Springfield would also be there, which allegedly got the attention of T.J. Wiggins.
And T.J. says, "What? Kevin's going to be there?" So when they leave the store, TJ tells Robert, who's driving, go to the lake. Now, they had no plans to go to the lake until TJ told Robert, go to the lake. And they did.
All 3 friends had just arrived at the lake, sitting in 2 pickup trucks, one white, one red, when, according to Sheriff Judd, T.J. Wiggins pulls up with his brother and girlfriend.
He, being TJ, runs around between the red truck and the white truck. He points the gun at Kevin, and TJ says, "Where's my truck?" Kevin goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yeah, you do. Where's my truck? You sold the engine out of my truck." Kevin said, "I don't know what you're talking about." At that moment in time, according to the information we've received, TJ hits Kevin. Damien starts to open the door of his vehicle and is screaming at TJ, put the gun away, put the gun away, put the gun away. TJ's out of control, screaming, where's my truck? And he starts shooting.
At 10:06 p.m., just 10 minutes after Damien left the Dollar General, Brandon Rollins called his father for help. This is what Brandon's dad told WFLA.
When I got there, I was looking for my son. It was a mess. I found my son. I was holding him. He was telling me what happened. I was too shocked.
All three men died at the scene. The Wiggins brothers and Mary Whitmore left the scene and allegedly went to get food.
They immediately go to McDonald's in Lake Wells and order 10 double cheeseburgers and 2 McChickens. While they're standing in line, they go through the drive-thru. It's very quiet. TJ simply says, we weren't there.
Robert Wiggins is cooperating with investigators. A search warrant turned up a 9mm shell casing found at the Wiggins home that matches one at the scene. Before this, TJ Wiggins, according to the sheriff, had 230 felony charges on his criminal record, dating back to when he was just 12 years old.
It's gut-wrenching. This is evil in the flesh. This is a guy who can hurt you just because it's the right thing for him to do at that moment in time with his 3 brain cells. He needs to receive a fair trial, the appropriate appeals, and then be executed.
All right, we are tracking this one. There's a status hearing for TJ Wiggins, September 17th. Perhaps we get the trial date at that hearing. We'll continue to follow it for you right here on your front row seat to justice. When we come back, time to hear from you, our 13th juror. And it's the question that really is a question the judge has to make a decision on in the Cristhian Rivera, Molly Tibbetts case. Should Rivera get a new trial? Your verdict when we return.
Sir, you're aware that there's been DNA testing done in this case, is that right?
Yes.
And specifically, it was requested by Mr. Brown that the trunk liner undergo additional testing, isn't that right?
Yes, that's true.
And you're familiar with that testing result, is that right?
Yes.
Molly Tibbetts' blood was found in my client's trunk, isn't that right?
That is true.
Along with that, there were 2 other samples that were found, isn't that right?
Yes.
And those 2 samples, they were ran against my client's DNA, isn't that right?
Yes, they would have been.
His DNA was submitted,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
And there was no match found with my client's DNA, is that right?
That's correct.
Now, there has been no other samples submitted, isn't that right, sir?
Yes.
You could request Gavin Jones' DNA, is that right?
Yes, I could. You're right.
You also could ask for James Lowe's DNA, is that right?
Yes.
And you could submit those to the DNA lab to be reviewed, isn't that correct?
Yes.
But you haven't requested Gavin Jones's DNA, is that right?
That's correct.
You haven't requested James Lowe's DNA, is that right?
That's correct.
In fact, you haven't requested anyone's DNA other than my client's, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Our client did confess and did take investigators to the body, so that's another part of the story there. But anyhow, the defense is looking for a brand new trial. Should Cristhian Rivera get a new trial based on everything that came out in court today? We begin with our 13th juror comment of the day from Nancy, who says, I feel that if there is even a chance that this new information is correct, it should be thoroughly investigated, and if that means a new trial, then so be it. Better safe than sorry. Michael Sterling, okay, but who should be doing the investigation?
The state. I agree with Chief Justice, former Justice Sutherland, who said in the Berger v. United States decision that prosecutors are in a very peculiar position when it comes to serving the law, that their job is not simply to win cases, but that justice be done. And yes, they have to make sure that guilt does not escape, but they also have to make sure that innocence does not suffer. And if there's credible information being presented and you're ignoring evidence, you're not pulling the DNA samples, what you've got to do is you've got to make sure that you're not putting an innocent person in jail. And if that means exhausting a few more resources to ensure that doesn't happen, I think prosecutors have that responsibility.
Cristhian tonight, no way, too many stories, none consistent, sorry, he's guilty. Michael Bixon, how many bites at the apple does the defendant get, right? He's got his confession, he's got his story during the course of the trial, and now they've got this third theory, which may actually have two different theories within it, none of them consistent with one another.
Well, there's definitely inconsistencies here. I mean, no one's going to dispute that. The question is, are one of these stories true? And is there a reason why the stories aren't consistent? My big issue with this is if there is any credible evidence that the state has not explored, that is a very big problem, not just for this case, but overall. The state has a duty to explore these theories, at least if they are credible. And some of this I think is, and I think should be explored.
Karen tonight, Mackey sounded credible. Why would he step forward to lie when he has nothing to gain? And Bremner, and Mackey could be telling the truth, but the story he's telling may not be true because it was told to him by someone else.
Hearsay, exactly like you said before, Vinny. And I think when we look at what the judge has to decide here, it's not just, is this credible, but is there a substantial likelihood that this information would change the result, i.e. a guilty verdict? And he's taking a lot of notes and he's going to have to make that decision. But that's what the test is. And so they've already lost their Brady motion, which is to basically, say that they didn't give over, they should give over exonerating evidence. But the fact of this is, it's really a legal matter, and looking at this in a credibility matter for this judge who heard the entire trial, and like he just said, heard that the defendant confessed and led this to the body, etc. And the evidence was overwhelming. By the way, his testimony was completely in opposite of what we're doing now.
All right, I only have time to go around the horn. One-word answer. Does he get a new trial, yes or no? Michael Sterling.
Yes.
Ann Bremner.
No.
Michael Bixon, the tiebreaker.
No.
All right. What a job. Michael Sterling, Michael Bixon, Ann Bremner. Appreciate your time, your expertise.
Thank you.
And wow, we'll see you soon.